Our mission statement is investing in the future of tomorrow. As a better way of linking parents to their children, a phalange scanner would be used. Once the mother was out of labor, the mother's thumbprint was taken and the baby's big toe was taken and scanned. The scanned image would then be put into the hospital's database. To keep security over children, the scanner would be portable. Since the results are in the database, all you would have to do is scan the fingerprints before giving them the baby. A step further could be once the prints are scanned, they are printed straight onto the wristbands for both parent and child. So when scanned, they are done by one another, and it is more time efficient. For our security plan, a low threat is an untrained nurse switching babies. Our response is organized nursery by last names due to mobile carts. Before baby comes into nursery, band is attached and checks all requirements. Nurses take all precautions and apply proper training. Before giving the baby to the family, all fingerprints and bands are analyzed and compared to the database. Before able to go home, the doctor has to check nurses' review and approve all charts. Once approved, bands are checked again and sent home. All nurses have training every 6 months and have to pass to continue job. Medium threat. There is a domestic disturbance concerning known family member or friend. The response is limit family members to 2 at a time. All nurses have a fingerprint to allow access for precautions. Family waiting room is distant from nursery. Nurses go and get the 2 people. Nurses use fingerprints, then clean the screen. Access is available but for 5 minutes maximum with nurse present. Once time is up, the nurse escorts people back to the waiting room. The family then signs a paper saying they had access and shows their ID to provide correct information. High threat. The person is unauthorized and disguised. Response. All nurses are fingerprinted and in database. To access all rooms, prints are scanned to gain entry. If scanner doesn't approve, then an alarm will sound and security will be contacted. Security escorts the person out and waits for them to leave till off property. If refusal is used, then police get involved. This biometrics method is based mainly on physical characteristics rather than behavioral characteristics. Since babies are so delicate, there is only so much you can do with them. Since skin is the epidermis of the body, it is a physical characteristic. Next, since prints are being compared, there is no behavioral characteristics being used. A possible limitation would be identical twins. With identical twins, you would expect them to be completely similar since they both form from the same zygote. But they don't because fingerprints are not a genetic dependent characteristic. Accuracy of techniques. This method of biometrics is very reliable because each person has a unique fingerprint. This allows the percentage for failure to be very small. When you take them directly after birth, there would be less room for counterfeit. The mother and the father's fingerprint would be taken prior to the birth, preventing different people from trying to claim ownership of the kid. Hi, so I'm Sarah and I just had my first child. We got the privilege to use the new hospital system. Me and my husband really enjoyed it. We were a lot more relaxed and comfortable when they took the baby away from us and took her to the other room. The new system was a really great idea when it came to other people wanting to hold her and walk around with her. I'm not really comfortable with people holding her, so with this new system, it really helped me to stay relaxed and calm. They only let family come in the room, which was great. This new hospital system has really changed things, and I think it was a real great idea that should spread. This makes me feel, and I'm sure other families feel, a lot more relaxed when it comes to having their baby in a totally different room and environment. Since fingerprints are so unique, it would be hard to beat the system. Since there's a mom and a dad, and there's usually one kid or twins, that means there's at least 3 fingerprints you would have to replicate. Since there's 3 fingerprints, all different fingerprints consist of different patterns, sizes, and shapes. With the different sizes of adult fingerprints and child fingerprints, the details would be much harder to complete. Also, nurses and doctors would only be the people licensed to be able to complete the replication due to the scanner, and they only have access. It would be hard because the nurses have proper training and they're trained every 6 months, and since they're trained every 6 months, the training wouldn't allow them to do that, and they would know they would lose their job and be punished. Also, the time frame would be shorter because babies don't stay in the hospital very long unless they're sick or in an unhealthy state. Nowadays, passwords have turned into fingerprints instead of more of codes, and since the nurses have to give access to their fingerprint and then you have family's fingerprint, if the hospital gets hacked, personal information could be stolen, not only like security numbers and health information, but also your fingerprints. And a lot of people use their fingerprints for their personal information. For example, your checking account. A lot of people use that to get into their checking account. Some people use it to buy apps or just simply get in your phone. So with the replication of your fingerprint, they can get a hold of your private information and you wouldn't even know it. Also, they could track you with your fingerprint because once they hack your phone or your iPad, they could track you from your device and know what you're doing. Also, once they get your information, it's hard to fix that because your fingerprint is so unique and nobody has that same fingerprint. So since they have that, they can just use it freely. Also, it's not the most secure system because the nurses have the fingerprint, so they have access to it, and if the nurse isn't the best nurse or the doctor isn't the best doctor and they think they can get away with it, they could take your personal information and use it against you.